I mean, a lot of times when you want to move forward in a job, you position yourself in a level of excellency so that the company can bring you on board and take you to the next level. So we're doing those same initiatives for not only our children, but for our adults. And you want to find as many opportunities as you can to position them for greatness. And I believe that that's what we should do.
Absolutely. And just to talk a little bit more of my story, because I'm a little amazed by my son. I'm touched. I mean, but in the beginning,
your son is a genius.
Well, I like to think so. But in the beginning, I mean, we were mourning what the diagnosis said, and we were scared. And he developed a gift of playing the guitar. And now he plays with the band Blue Spectrum. There's another member in the band who also has autism, our keyboardist, and they play all around Ohio. They play all around Columbus, and he's even played in San Antonio, Texas. We might be going to California in a few weeks, Mike. They're still working out the details, all because of his guitar playing. And it's kind of comical. I can laugh now, but in the beginning when we would tell people about this band that had members with autism, they didn't mean to be condescending, but people would be like, oh, that's so nice. They found something they like. They assumed that it couldn't be as good. Right. And I've learned to enjoy their reaction when they actually see them play. I enjoy their mouths opening. I've had so many people say, you didn't tell me they were that good. And I'm like, you wouldn't have believed me anyway. But
right.
But I mean, it goes to a term that I don't know if people have heard. It's called splinter skills, and it's used often in the autism community, but I think it applies to us. Basically, splinter skills are describing a situation where a person has a disability or they're compromised in some area, but they're incredibly gifted in another. Think like Stevie Wonder. I mean, there's tons of examples. And if you broaden it, doesn't that apply to all of us to a certain extent?
Absolutely. I think that one of the things, I mean, I know you downplay your son, but I think that's why I say that they're hidden geniuses. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I found out about my son is that our sons have no problem with repetition and practicing. And your son will spend hours and hours and hours of practicing. And what happens? The more you practice, the more excellent you become. And in him doing so, I mean, your son doing so, and actually, like I said, your son is my son's mentor. And your son doing so, it sparks in people a work ethic that a lot of people don't have. Mm-hmm. And that's the amazing thing about having children that have a disability. There's unique gifts and talents within them that will spark. I mean, it caused me to look at my own work ethic. I was looking at my son, I'm like, oh, I might be lazy. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't think about, you know, that they look at this child that might have a disability or adult that has a disability and they're like, oh, but when they show you the exceptionalness of themselves, right. I mean, look at what Zane does, and just a Blue Spectrum period. It's just an amazing, amazing thing, and we have to think differently about what we do and resources. That's why it's needed. The resources are needed so we can pull out the greatness in our community.
Right, across the board.
Absolutely.
Like you said. And like I said, we all have weaknesses and strengths, so we need to emphasize all of our strengths. Right. I mean, I don't know what someone with autism might cure cancer. I don't know. Their brains operate a little bit differently.
There's a television show about a doctor that had autism.
Amen.
They can.
So, I mean, we don't want our kids for any reason to slip through the cracks, whether it's a disability, whether they're not getting the appropriate education, but it's something we really need to focus on. Mm-hmm. So, well, I have a question. It's kind of an extension of my earlier question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the emotions when you first got the diagnosis?
Absolutely. Well, okay, so let me tell you, the difference between you and I is that you knew what that meant. So I did not. So the doctor said, oh, he has autism. I said, oh, okay. Now, autism sounded like musical components in my head, and I said, oh, so he's gonna be, you know, I didn't know. It wasn't until I kind of researched it, and he was just giving me information regarding it, that I realized I am a unique thinker. So I'm like, oh, these are all his strengths. Oh, okay, when somebody gets on his nerves, he screams. I was looking at this, that someone gave me a piece of paper showing me the strengths of my son in areas that not necessarily to work on, but to have a greater understanding. When he was playing with his peripheral vision, we take our peripheral vision for granted. So he's knowing that there's something unique about being able to see on the side. It was just unique things that I found out about him, and all kinds of other children with disabilities and adults with disabilities. When you find out those those areas of strength, it just the diagnosis to me was kind of like, it caused me to work hard. Remember, he gave me my purpose, because I just didn't realize how much greatness. You brought up something that I believe with all my heart. What happens in our country if someone who has the key answers to diseases and everything is in a community that you're neglecting? But if you give that community every opportunity as you give everybody else, what if that community of people have the genius ability to show you ways that you can cure diseases that we don't know about?
Right.
So that's the reason why I advocate so much, because they might have the answer to some of the things that we lack in knowledge. And sometimes God, I think, is unique, that he'll hide gems in people that you least likely think that has the answer, and pull those gems out of them. And then when he pulls those gems out, people are like, wow, I didn't, like, look at Zane. How many hundreds of thousands of people's lives that he changed because he made a determination that I'm a guitarist, I'm going to have a band, and that band is going to be amazing. And look at what manifested. It came out of his mouth. Right. And now the manifestation of what he said happened. So how many of us need to look at what our children are doing, whether they're verbal or nonverbal, where the manifestation of their greatness can happen?
Absolutely. And I mean, and you touched on the story. I mean, my husband and I are not musicians. So when he first expressed interest in the guitar, we thought it was cute and we thought it was nice, and we did get him a guitar for his birthday a few months later, but we didn't pay any attention to it. And he went up in his room for 2 years and taught himself how to play. And we didn't see it happening, but he spoke it into existence. He said, one of our stories we always tell is that before he was really playing, he would go up to complete strangers. And this is amazing in itself, because he was autistic. He was painfully shy. He didn't talk a lot, but he would go up to grown folks in Guitar Center and say, "You want to be in my band?" And I would be mad, because I'd be like, "You don't have a band. Stop." Well, he has a band.
And he has a band, that's doing amazing. They've been on the biggest platforms in our city. And he's traveling all over the world. I mean, but the thing that I have to give a hat off to you, and the reason why I respect you and Gene so much, is because of the fact that y'all did not deny him his gift. Y'all let him play in that room for 2 years. But look at the manifestation of y'all letting that happen, because y'all took the initiative and said, "Listen, I'm gonna go out and get a guitar for him." And then you turned around and got him a guitar, and now he is playing so excellently that the greats are looking at him like, wow, at such a young age, he is doing an amazing job with the guitar. And so it's kind of like those parents, how many times you hear your children say little things and you neglect it, you ignore it. And I'm just trying to encourage parents that's listening to today. You neglect it, you ignore it. My son did the same thing. He asked for a guitar. Well, I'm quicker as a mom. I ran out right then. Got him a guitar, and he started playing, and I'm looking at him like, and just like you said, there's unique gifts and talents that are hidden in all of us as people that we have to take the time out to manifest and make it brilliant. So now, your baby, wow, yeah.
It is amazing. But you know what? I had to learn too. And I remember when Zane was about 14, that's when a lot of changes came to pass. And it was a tough year. It was a tough age, because he was realizing he was different, and he was having that trouble fitting in socially, and basically we didn't see this coming. And it took a friend of mine who, she just asked me one day, she goes, "Does Zane know he's autistic?" Now, he was 14 at the time, and I was kind of confused, and I had to think about it, because I was like, well, we talk about it all the time. But then I realized I don't talk about it with him.
Right.
So we talk around him or over him. And I mean, it sounded like a simple question, and then she's followed it with, "Well, that's how God made him, so why doesn't he know?" Which blew me away. And you know what? I didn't run home and talk to him, because I was scared. I was scared of the effect on him emotionally, and I had to build up to it, but I finally did. And it wasn't like a big rainbow came out at that moment. I had to talk to him for probably a few weeks, and he spent some time, everyone he would meet, he would ask if they were autistic. And he said, "Are you autistic?" "Because I'm autistic." So he was trying to wrap his mind around it. And it was really painful at the time to admit it. I had those same issues. But now, years later, I'm so grateful I did that. I'm so grateful I got the support and the acknowledgement and the advice to do that, because now it's not a big deal. And when we talk about it, because sometimes he'll say, "I wish I didn't have this." And I'm like, well, everybody has something they deal with. And that's how you would talk to any child. about any issue. And I'm just grateful. So now we talk about it on the radio, on stage, everywhere, and it's no big deal.
That's right.
And he has self-love, and the music has just transformed everything. I think the thing he loves the most about the music is he's able to connect. I mean, he definitely had that problem. He always wanted to connect with people, but I remember when he was little, he would walk up to people and stand next to them quietly while they were talking, but he didn't know how to start a conversation, and you could just see his struggle. And now, because he plays that guitar like that, he connects with people. So I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful. There's so much out there. I want to make people more aware of all the different support. We're going to talk about those further in other shows, and we're going to get a word from our sponsor real quickly.
You know, I want to just say, you know, that's just so unique and so awesome that you as a parent, we do have to become vulnerable as parents. Some parents think they're the superhero and they have all the answers. And so it's awesome that you're that type of parent. So you really inspire me.
Thank you. Well, I want to talk a little bit about one of our sponsors, City Talk. We're part of the Blev614 and City Talk family. And you can join City Talk Nation and follow us for more videos, behind-the-scene footage, and your chance to win prizes. If you want more information about this, go to www.citytalknews.com. So, well, what other things are you thinking about? Other things have helped you deal with the issue with your son and the autism diagnosis?
My son, well, here's the thing. I was not a person that was new to disabilities. My very best friend was deaf. When I was growing up, we had our own little sign language. So with him coming along with something that was, you know, really unique. And so I was able to just really handle that. My very best friend, he's blind. I have a dear friend who has cerebral palsy. So for me,